Okay, can everyone come forward and take your seats now, please?
We can't see you.
Oh, yeah. That's better. Can't see a thing now, that's right. Wow, welcome everybody. Welcome to Open Mic Night number 90. We're getting there. 10 more to go, and we'll achieve the 100 Open Mic Nights. I'd like to welcome all the regulars and newbies here tonight. There's a nice little crowd again tonight, which is great. And tonight, I'm just going to point out that tonight is a very special night for Busybird Publishing as a whole. Tonight, as the slide shows, we have been in this building 10 years yesterday. So for a small little business, I think we've done pretty well to kind of stay here. And what I would like to do is, if you can just indulge me for 5 minutes, is just give you a little history of how Busybird got to where it is right now. Would you like to kind of hear that story? Yeah. Okay, so Busybird Publishing, the name Busybird was registered in 1999. So Blaze and I had a dream of a business way back 24 years ago. Had no idea what it was, but it was just called Busybird. And I was a commercial photographer, and Blaze was, she was working in a bit of retail and a few other kind of places. And we really didn't know what to do with it. So we were really just, designing invitations and just doing all that kind of basic kind of stuff as you do for a while. And then my dad worked at Ford in the parts and accessories area, and he was involved with the Ford GCAT system, which is how they kind of catalogues car parts. And I was looking at his computer one day, and he was showing me the kind of parts and how it's all kind of done on the microfiche on the computer and stuff like that. And he was telling me about this company that did it in Sydney. They would alter the diagrams depending on the new models of cars and stuff like that, and they would move parts around and they'd renumber things and they'd do stuff, whatever. And he goes, oh, they charged me about, $140 a drawing and stuff like that. I went, oh, okay. And I go, I could do that. And he goes, like what? And I kind of jumped on his computer in Photoshop and I go, well, what, do you want that part over there? You want that? And we want to name that. And I did that. And he looked at me like, oh my God. I said, I'll do it for $50. Right? And he went, oh. So anyway, so he went away and that kind of business came up for tender. And we said we would tender for it against this other company. And that meant that we actually had to have all the equipment in order to go. They would check that we actually were ready to go. So Blaze and I said, we're going to have to spend thousands on computers, and if we lose the tender, then we've got all this equipment, and what do we do with it, right? And we thought, what do we do? So Blaze said, bugger it. If we don't get the tender, we'll use it for something. We'll expand in some other areas. Anyway, we tendered and we got it. And for about, 5, 6, 7 years, we basically would sit in a little room at my house, and we just had these computers, and we virtually ran the Ford GCAT cataloguing system of Detroit. We would upload it into Detroit from a little room in Montmorency on a little tiny Mac. And we would upload onto their systems and talk phone calls to Detroit and all that kind of stuff. So we did that for about 5, 6, 7, 8 years, something like that, until Ford, I don't know if you know, Ford closed the doors and everything, and they got some little monkeys in South America to do it for $25 a drawing or something, some kind of weird, or even probably $2 a drawing probably. So we lost that. And so the story goes that Blaze was then starting to get into editing and writing and all that kind of stuff, and I was still doing photography and design and things like that. And in 2009, we registered a business called Busybird Publishing and Design. And that was because Blaze and I said, hey, I can do all the imagery and the design, she can do all the words, hey, we can make books. And we kind of started in our little desk at home, and we would get clients coming in to our house, and they would sit down, and we would just, we had no idea what we were doing, but we just basically worked it out. And then it got a bit awkward because, then my teenage son would walk through in his pajamas going, hey, there's a client there. So, so we said, we started getting a few clients. It was kind of whatever, and most people would know we actually live walking distance from here. So we would walk our dog down past here to the creek, and we saw this building for rent. And we looked in the window here, and it was totally empty. Totally empty. Wow. It was just a big white nothing. And Blaze and I looked at it, and we went, we could probably do something with that. So I'm just going to let this run. There's two very innocent people who just got the keys. And we started open mic number 1, which you can see here. And you see the massive crowd that turned out. There it is. Open mic night number 1. I think we had 5 or 6 people. I actually got up and played guitar because it just went so short. I thought I got to pan it out somehow. So open mic number 1. So then we decided, we have to renovate. And this place, a lot of people walk into this place and they go, oh wow, it is as it is, but it takes a lot of work. We had home furniture here. We had our table was our outdoor setting from our decking, and eventually it evolves into something that's kind of starting to look like this. But it's many years of just doing it really basically. Not many people. If you go downstairs, there's a lot of junk down there at the moment, but it is a photographic studio and a lot of other things. But it was a rat's nest down there. We cleared it out and we built these whole things, painted it all up, and made it what it is down there. So it was a lot of weekends and hours of work to do this. We actually then even had we made a little client sitting area downstairs. That was kind of pretty fun until it was freezing cold down there and no one wanted to go down there. And then we had our grand opening, which was 10 years yesterday. Here we are, all kind of having a crowd. Joe Dolce did the emceeing of the night and launched it for us. But very, very naive and very young we were kind of getting into this. We had our humble marketing, stalls at fairs and Eltham Fair, and, you know, look at our 5 books we've done, you know. It was very, very basic, and, you know, you start off so humble and small, you forget how you get to where you are. But yeah, it was very kind of ground roots up. Then we had, I don't know if many people remember the Slug, and I call it the Slug because, geez, if you wanted to pass a caravan on a highway, you got no trouble. This was our marketing, and the amount of clients we got from actually having that little Slug thing driving around with Busybird. You'd be pulled up at lights, and some little girl would, "Hey, there's a bird on the car." It really stood out, that car, and luckily Subaru made it a car in the exact orange of Busybird. So, yeah, the Slug helped us through. And also, not many people know this was an art gallery. Our idea for this was Busybird Publishing and Design and art gallery. So this whole top end here, we actually used as an art gallery. We've got all picture hanging things on here. So we've had many, many exhibitions of art in this area. Blaze and I had this idea that this would be an artistic hub. So we've had art gallery, we've had yoga, we've had life drawing, we've had meetings in here. And we'd do a lot of, you know, where we're sitting here, we would have group meetings. The Montmorency Community Group would meet here. We would have, you know, workshops, big parties. Everyone knows the Christmas parties we've had in this room. So we really kind of wanted to make this a usable area. As you can see, open mic nights went from number 2, number 3, slowly building up. Still no stage, just a kind of couple of floor mats in the corner. But as you can see, it kind of built its own little kind of niche. The crowd started to get bigger. We started to get a community and a family that came along. And it turns out to where we are today. So I'm pretty kind of proud how we started off with those humble beginnings, and now it's kind of the amount of people that have been into this place over the years is kind of phenomenal. So, yeah. And then came our morale manager. As you can see, this is Oscar, who used to bring us our documents, and even now he still brings us the mail. So thank you for your support for everyone in the last 10 years. Okay, thank you for that, and I'll just pass you over to Les, who'll be the MC for the night. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for attending. Welcome to Open Mic 90. I mean, one other thing sort of to add as an addendum, hence why it's called an addendum.
Here's your endorsement.
Holding back.
So obviously last year was a really tough year, horrible year, and when we just started the open mic nights again, the first 2 open mics we did as part of trying to get back into the routine of things, I think there was only about 9-10 people that came to each of them. And then Kev and I had a talk and just saying, well, maybe this is no longer the direction to go, given there's an absence at these sort of events. And we thought, look, let's give it one more swing, and we really pushed it. And I think that next time we had quite a good turnout. And one of the really great things about the turnout is when we look around, there's a mixture of regulars and new people, and it's really gratifying to see that this dream lives on, and that we are the great creative community that Blaze did want to create when she first opened this place. I remember, like, when she said about open mic nights, I thought that's never going to work, but you know, she made it work, and she and Kev made it work. So thank you to everyone who's come and who continues to come and who spruiks us and refers people to us and talks about us. You know, Busybird wouldn't be here without you. Bryce Courtney once said, it's not a story until someone reads it. And the same thing with Busybird, you know, big part of Busybird are the people, so thank you to everyone. Do I have Has everyone who wants to read got their name here?
There's one potential child. I won't point anything.
I'm the child, so who else?
Trying to read later but hasn't decided yet.
Okay. So no pressure on the child. I won't. Is there any children in the room? I wonder. There's beer in the fridge. Yes, that was part of the joke. That like I was pretending like there wasn't. Yeah. Anyway, Jimmy Fong, who I'm not calling up right now, but Jimmy Fong's been a long time comer to the Open Mic Nights. He's a great songwriter, singer, guitarist. This is an event he's having Friday, May 19th. That's in 2 days. At Oregon Express, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. and Sunday, May 28th, Grape and Hop, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The Grape and Hop is just around the corner. Jimmy, where's the Oregon Express?
Weekly Road.
Doesn't help me. You could have just said Earth and that would have been the same thing to me.
Oscar will take you there.
Yeah, he dropped out, so he's not taking me anywhere.
Certainly.
I'm also going to pass this around, so I'm just going to drop it off with our intern, Carly. And you can pass it around, and Jimmy would like if you could maybe take a selfie or something with it, post on your social media, give him a little bit of exposure, so Jimmy knows how to work the game. So I'm just going to hand this to Carly. You could get up and help, meet me halfway. Thank you. So thanks to everyone. So let's just start the night. So the way you put your names down, that's not the order that I call you out. So we mix it up because sometimes you get like a stream of poets who put their name down in a row. But so we'll mix it up so we're not always getting the same sort of thing. What is the time limit on readers, Kev?
How many we got? 4 minutes.
We've got 14 without the kid who hasn't decided yet, and with the kid who may be read it, we've got 14 and a half.
Take 4 minutes.
All right, so 4 minutes. So 3 minutes 30, Shell will ding you. And when you hear that, that means you've got 30 seconds left. And at 4 minutes, she'll double ding you. Thanks, Shell. And that doesn't mean you have to stop right there, mid-word, mid-sentence. You can continue to finish the sentence, the paragraph, the little section that you're on. But please, out of respect for everyone, don't go on for another 9 minutes. Monica, you're laughing a lot. Anyway, don't just sort of keep going on. Just, we have a limited time, unfortunately, and like if people are respecting the time limit, some aren't, it's just a little bit unfair. So I'm going to start with Janet. Do you want me to start with Janet? Sorry, yeah. So everyone, are you new to Open Mic Night?
This is the first time.
Oh, you don't have to read first if you don't want to.
And I haven't even got anything to think.
You can read my list.
No, I'll just have a go.
Elizabeth.
Is it okay to stop? No, I'll just have a go.
No, so everyone please welcome Elizabeth. I'm sorry, Janet. Don't welcome Elizabeth, she'll come later.
How many drinks have you had? This is the...
Drag it down. There you go.
This is The Man from Ironbark by A. Banjo Patterson. It was the man from Ironbark who struck the Sydney town. He wandered over street and park, he wandered up and down. He loitered here, he loitered there, till he was like to drop. Until at last, in sheer despair, he sought a barber shop. Here, shave me beard and whiskers off, I'll be a man of mark. I'll go and do the Sydney top up home in Ironbark. The barber man was small and flash, as barbers mostly are. He wore a strike your fancy sash and smoked a huge cigar. He was a humorist of note and keen at repartee. He laid the odds and kept a tote, whatever that might be. And when he saw our friend arrive, he whispered, "Here's a lark, just watch me catch him all alive, this man from Ironbark." There were 3 gilded youths that sat upon the barber's wall. Their eyes were dull, their heads were flat, they had no brains at all. To them the barber passed a wink, his extra eyelid shut. "I'll make this bloomin' yokel think his bloomin' throat is cut." And as he soaped and rubbed it in, he made a rude remark. "I suppose the flats is pretty green up there in Ironbark." A grunt was all reply he got. He shaved the bushman's chin. He made the water boiling hot and dipped the razor in. He raised his brow, he raised his hand, his brow grew black. He paused a while to gloat, then slashed the red-hot razor back across his victim's throat. Upon the newly shaven skin it made a livid mark. No doubt it fairly took him in, the man from Ironbark. He fetched a wild up country yell might wake the dead to hear, and though his throat he knew full well was cut from ear to ear, he struggled gamely to his feet and faced his murderous foe. "You've done for me, you dog, I'm beat. One hit before I go. I only wish I had a knife, you blessed murdering shark. But you'll remember all your life the man from Ironbark. He set to work with tooth and nail and made the place a wreck. He grabbed the nearest gilded youth and tried to break his neck. And all the while his throat he held to save his vital spark. And murder, bloody murder, yelled the man from Ironbark. A peeler man who heard the din came in to see the show. He tried to run the bushman in, but he refused to go. And when at last the barber spoke and said, "'Twas all in fun, was just a little harmless joke, a trifle overdone." "A joke," he cried, "by George, that's fine, a lively sort of lark. I'd like to catch that murdering swine some night in Ironbark." And now, while round the shearing floor, the listening shearers gape, he tells his story o'er and brags of his escape. Them barber chaps what keeps the tote, by George, I've had enough. One tried to cut my bloomin' throat, but thank the Lord it's tough. And whether he's believed or no, there's one thing to remark, that flowing beards are all the go way up in Ironbark. I learned that in grade 2 when we had to do it at a concert, in grade 2.
Well, you totally nailed it and you hammered it. I don't think anyone's going to live up to that, so thank you for coming, everyone. How many people here have a book they want to write and they haven't done it? I know, I see some of our authors around here. Phil. Bo. Anyone else? Angus. Angus. Yep. So, we're all about leaving a legacy behind in writing, and fiction is obviously not just about a legacy, but it's about you have a story that only you can uniquely tell, and it's like not doing anyone any good. Go back to that Bryce Courtney quote, it's just sitting on your computer, it's not a story, it's just a bunch of words. One book I'm going to push is Oscarisms by our Oscar. He was laying there, I don't know where he is now. He's over there. So Oscarisms is a collection of pictures of Oscar when he was little and big and troublemaking, and so these are great shots that Kev took. You can see what a troublemaker he looks like there. And there's some captions that myself, Kev, Blaze, and last year's interns wrote up. And it just shows that, art takes many forms. Anyone want to shout out a number from 1 to 100? 6. Well, that's a big number. This picture of Oscar, daydreaming is fun. So, next reader, I'm going to call someone who started his story last month, and he had to obviously compartmentalise it or segment it because we just ran out of time. So everyone please welcome the guy who slayed it last year, Paul. Sorry, last month, not last year.
Thank you. Thank you. Just to recap on last month, I started a speech. It's called "It's Never Too Late," and it's about forgiveness and acceptance. That speech started with 2004, and then when my father informed me a few days before my birthday that I was not his son, biological son. So the second part of the speech picks up round about 2021. So this is where we pick up from. Can you hear me at the back there? Is that okay? Good. Here we go. See if I can pick up on it right from that point. Fast forward now to the year 2021. I received a letter from Father, a letter of reconciliation. I'm concerned. I have my doubts. I take a few steps back. What does he want after all this time? What does he want? But what came to my rescue was my belief in forgiveness and acceptance. And I thank heavens it did. Why? And I like this part of the speech. Because Father and I had 5 remarkable months together before he passed away. Yes, I did cry. It was sad. He was 92 years of age. But Father made it patently clear upon his death. No funeral service, no flowers, no music, no earthly memorial to represent my earthly existence. Do what you want with my ashes. Throw them over the hedge, all I care. I like to share with you, no, I want to share with you 2 poignant conversations that I had with my father. And the first one went something like this. Dad, why did you deny yourself medical and surgical procedures that would have enhanced the last 10 years of your life? And his response? I neglected myself like I neglected my 4 children, and there is no bloody excuse. Father's toxic, manipulative behaviour severely wounded my mother, my siblings, and myself. I'd like you all to ask yourself a few questions. Put yourself in my father's shoes. Would you have continued on self-loathing and punishing yourself? That was question 1. Or question 2, or would you have found self-forgiveness and sought the forgiveness in others to move forward in life? One of the last conversations that I had with my father touched my heart with love, compassion, and helped galvanize my belief in forgiveness and acceptance. And this part of the speech I adore. Paul, my son, life and death are one, and they both finish with a new beginning. And son, I am truly sorry, for our new beginning started late. Is it ever too late, Paul? Is it? No, it is never too late to start a new beginning. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. That was extremely powerful. Out of curiosity, he asked the question there, how many people would go for self-loathing? That's just the wogs, really. And the self-forgiveness? So, majority self-forgiveness. And on your last point, T.S. Eliot said it's never too late to be what you might have been. So, it's a good message to leave you on. Steve and Diana, you two ready? So, I am introducing you is When God Answers Your Prayers. So everyone please welcome Steve and Diane. Shall start timing him.
Dear God, I know I don't reach out to you enough, but I really need your help this time. My life is a mess. I don't know how to make things right. Please make yourself known to me and guide me in what I need to do.
Hello, Steve. Know that I'm always here for you.
What? Who's that? Who's there?
It's me, God. I'm here to answer your prayer.
God? Is that really you?
Yes, it's me, the Almighty.
Thank you, God. But is it really you?
It's okay. I understand your doubts. I don't normally respond in person to your human prayers, but as you're such a good boy, I thought I would make an exception for you.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't mean to sound doubtful. It's just that I thought you'd sound different. I thought you'd sound more like a man.
Oh, yes, that one again. I keep forgetting how misogynistic the scripture writers on your planet were. Rest assured, this is my natural voice, or supernatural voice, as the case may be.
So, does that mean you're a woman?
Well, I don't generally assign a gender to myself, but if I was to take human form, I may appear to you as a female of your species.
Wow. God's a woman. That's something I can't get my head around.
Me help me. I am what I am. Now, do you want me to help you or not?
But you're God, the creator of heaven and earth, the maker of all things seen and unseen.
Yes, I am the creator. I have given birth to countless galaxies, stars and planets. I take it that you consider yourself to be a male of your species. What have you given birth to?
Nothing, I guess. I fathered 3 children, though.
But did you birth them, bring them to life?
No, my wife did that, but I...
You're satisfied you'll last for a few seconds each time, and you consider that giving life, do you?
No, but it's part of the process.
Part of the process, indeed. How wonderful. Well, I was part of the process in creating my son, but I didn't need assistance from many men on your planet.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, your son, Jesus. So, he's a man, right?
He identifies as a male, yes, but unfortunately, due to the rampant misogyny on your planet, identifying as male was necessary for his mission.
So, he was not born a male?
Listen, I arranged for him to be immaculately conceived. The womb of his mother, the Virgin Mary, was not tainted with human seed, so how do you propose he could have been born a male?
But you're God, you can do anything.
Creating a child by immaculate conception was difficult, I'll give you that, and the conception had to be immaculate so that people would know that he was truly my son. But I still had to work with the basic biology of my host.
What does that mean?
The Virgin Mary was a female, so I only had her genetic makeup to work with.
So, Jesus was born a female, but identified as a male?
Yes. Do you have a problem with that?
No, it's kind of cool, actually.
Okay. Great. Now that we've got that out of the way, what is your dilemma which caused you to summon me?
Well, right, I almost forgot. You see, the thing is, it was my turn to organise the office Christmas party this year. I thought I found a great venue for it, a dinner cabaret. But I've just discovered that the performers there are transsexual.
And that's a problem because?
My boss is a conservative Christian who will be deeply embarrassed and offended.
Oh, will he just? I don't think that will be a problem at all. I think that exposure to diverse cultures is what he deserves. Needs.
Really?
Yes, you can tell him that I said it was okay. Now, is there anything else I can help you with?
Well, there's one other thing that's bothering me. How did Noah get all those animals on that wooden boat?
Well, that may have not happened. I'll let you think about that, and perhaps we can discuss it another time.
Okay, well, thank you, God.
You're very welcome, Steve. Goodbye now. Me bless.
Thanks, Diane. Steve, both of you authors, Diane. So you're doing a children's book now. What else have you done previously?
Anthologies with Antoinette
Yep. So we have one of those there, which is called Live Your Truth. And Steve, you've done stand-up. You've got your novel out, Pope Dreams, which is back there. Also an actor and also a playwright. So well done.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Exploring Immaculate Conception.
He wrote the script.
Ooh. Ructions in the ranks. Dom, I'm not going to call you up now, but I'll call you up next because you have a little bit of time to prepare. Where am I looking there? So after the next one, I'll call you up. And for now, I will call up Julie, who has poetry and just an X.
Oh, that's the title of it.
Oh, the title, yep.
I'm starting to think it's a little bit weird for this group, actually. Maybe I'll just get
This
the
group's
title.
weird. Everyone's creative, everyone's weird. So everyone please welcome Julie.
Sorry?
You can't be too weird for this group.
Oh, I can. I do nice things too. My children's book's down there, but I save the nice things for the children. All right, I'm going to find this in here. So it's a little poem, and it's the symbol X. That's the title. It sounds like X is in an X, but you'll find out if that's the case or not. It's one of those 4:30 musings from a year ago when things were a bit darker. And okay, so X, symbols. That's a bit of a prologue. Life is.
Can you use the microphone?
Yep. Can,
Talking down the back.
oh, it's so loud for me. Here we go. All right. X, symbols. Life is rich with symbolism. X, a number. 10 in Roman numerals, but any undisclosed yet determinable number in algebraic expression. X, sacred. X, how many times can we repeat this thing? X, the spot, the place one must locate to find the goods. X is also the spot where you may not cross. X, do not dig here. X, for when we got it wrong. X, for the things not allowed. X, for the closed path where your ego slammed my vulnerability. X, for the things very much allowed in love, but absolutely not allowed to be spoken about. X, for the things you'd never tried and places people had never touched and the words they'd never said. I'd say and do them all again. They were all favourites of mine. You, a favourite of mine. X for the kisses on lips, on fingertips, on text screens when you were far away. X for the places I wasn't able to go with you and the places you couldn't seem to come back from. X for crossing out your contact again when you fucked up again and then you became X. X for the beautiful two separate journeys that begin and end in different directions, but our paths crossed and danced in the middle. Thank you, X. That's it, guys. Thank you.
Nope, that wasn't weird at all. If you only hear weird, Steve and Diane just did a thing about God, and I was just standing there. Well, that one went over everyone's head. No, I'm kidding. So Dominic, you ready to go? You need the stool? So everyone please welcome Dom with a song.
Hello. For those of you who don't know me, Betty's the writer. She's the brains. I just do a few folk songs, which I've always loved. It could be a terrible accident here, actually. What do we do? I'd like to do Ian Tyson's song. Now, Ian Tyson was a Canadian, and he wrote a beautiful love song which took him 20 minutes. And in a survey in Canada was voted the best song of all times on one survey. So it's amazing what you can do in 20 minutes. Hope you like it. For strong winds that blow the wind, 7 seas that run high, always things never change, come what may. But the good times are all gone, and I'm bound for moving on. I'll look for you if I'm ever back this way. Think I'll go down to Alberta, where there's good there in the fall. Got some friends there I might be working for, and I'd wish you'd change your mind if I ask you one more time. We've been through that 1,000 times before. For strong winds that blow, 7 seas that run high, all these things never change, come what may. But the good times, they're all gone. I'm bound for moving on. I'll look for you if I'm ever back this way. If I get there for the snow flies and things are going good, you can meet me if I send you back on the fair. But by then it would be winter. Not a lot you can do, for the wind chill can blow cold way up there. Strong winds, they blow, 7 seas that run high. All these things never change, come what may. But the good times, they're all gone. I'm bound for moving on. I'll look for you I'm ever back this
Thanks, Dom. Have you recorded your music anywhere?
Not really.
I think that's something you should explore.
I'm thinking of writing a book.
Wrong place for it. Take that to a publishing note. Oh, thank you, Dom. Ruja. I'm going to call you sometime later. No, Ruja, who's a poet, just done her collection Petals, which was a couple of months ago, and she's now just done the Croatian translation. I can't pronounce, what's the word? Kapice. No, I'm a walk and I can't say it, so sorry. So everyone, please welcome Ruja.
Hi. This poem is dedicated to my mum. My mum was a special lady. Well, every mum is a special lady. But my mum was well ahead of her time. It's called My Mama. Now, in the winter of my life, memories flood back about Mama, both my sisters and mine, from a hard but dear time. Born at the start of 20th century in Kopanice, Bosnia, a long way away on one spring day. Formal schooling, 0. Official status, illiterate. Life knowledge, rich. Far ahead of her generation, life was her education. After the war, life was tough. For Shokci in Bošnjaci, and Shokci were landowners in a village where we lived. She worked in the field all day, paid with a kilo of flour. Such was their power. 1955 was her lucky year. She got a job in Županja, which is a town where we lived later on, sugar factory. She cleaned the bathrooms with pride, happily and efficiently. She had 6 children. She lost 2 sons. 4 daughters survived. Our father was horrid. He felt deprived. Mama raised us 4. She worked so hard. Taught, earned money was the minimum. She stretched it to the maximum. She taught us that kindness, honesty, loyalty, respect and hard work are values more important than money in her view. Even at times of scolding, she never used an ugly word. I was never smacked. She was just like that, always very gentle, in fact. On cold winter days, Mama gave us piggyback rides from the bathroom to the kitchen, the only warm room in the house. To me, it was always so fun. To me, her rides were grouse. As a child, I always wondered how she managed to create beautiful meals from so little. Now, as an adult, I know it was Mama's magic that made it so. Eventually, life changed. To Australia, we immigrated. Our love for Mama was more than reciprocated. Mama loved and spoiled our children. For breakfast, she made them pancakes. She played the card game sevens with them and always had an extra 7, which was an ace. She was the best baka, which is a grandma. I wonder if she's still cheating now in heaven. I miss her smile, her brown eyes, her warm hugs, her quick step, and her light touch. I always love her so very much. If only I could again have her damper or crumble pastry, her cornbread, her polenta, or her burek with or without cheese. I would think it came from heaven above, sent by Mama with love. Mama is there now, I know. As she was leaving, she looked at all of us, called us her doves, took one last breath and left us without fuss. This was my Mama. Thank you.
Thanks, Rouge. I can see a lot of people were very touched and affected by that. So Rouge's first collection, Petals, came out last year. And then Croatian translation. So, Rouge, is your launch a public launch? Can I invite everyone? I can't? Well, bad luck, mate. So, yep, so what was the date? The 29th? 28th, okay. Was it here? Was it 1 a.m.? No, it's 2 p.m. 28th of May. So that's next weekend, not this one coming up. And everybody's invited. So if you have the weekend to do something, come to a book launch. Everyone. So next reader is also a multiple author, a life coach, psychic medium, and gives me a lot of shit. So everyone, please welcome. And everyone's thinking, well, there's a lot of people who fit into those categories. Everyone, please welcome Michelle Burke.
I think it's the other way around, Les. You give me shit and I just give it back. How are we all going? Good? Good? Excellent. Rusha, that was beautiful. Because I'm going to start talking about death as well. 7 years ago, on Saturday, I lost the love of my life. And a month later, I started writing. Never written a book in my life. Did a little bit of poetry when I was younger, but all of a sudden I went to a book writing thingy that we won't talk about much, and I wrote Conversations with Paul, and that's a journey of courage, strength and bravery when facing a terminal illness. And I started writing that in the June, and in the November I handed it over to Busy Bird, who published it. And that was the last time I had my hair short. So, but it was 7 years ago. So when Kev's saying it was 10 years since they've been here, I've been here majority of, that time, which is interesting. But during Paul's journey, when he was on his deathbed, he said to me, and I remember it like it was yesterday, he said, "Darling, what are you going to do when I'm gone?" And I said to him, "I'm going to travel." And I said, "I'm going to take you with me, put you in my suitcase, and we're going to go to visit all the places that we plan to go visit. And I'm going to get a photo of you or something, and I'm going to take photos of us together." And he said, "You're not, are you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to do it." She says, "You're not." I said, "Yes, I am." He says, "No, you're not." I said, "I am." Because my husband had a wicked sense of humour, and I have got a wicked sense of humour, and he dared me. And you never dare a redhead. So I travelled around the world in 2017 with a 5'9" cardboard cutout of my late husband. And I became world famous. So I'm a world famous author. And we went viral. And we travelled America, we travelled Europe, and we had such a fun time. So then when I came back, I wrote #Travelling with Cardboard Paul. He has been here a few times. I've nearly bought him tonight. I thought, nah, I won't. Maybe next time. So after I wrote Travelling with Cardboard Paul, I got heavily involved with, after I lost Paul, I got heavily involved with the death and dying and type of having conversations with death and we need to talk about death and preparing and everything else. And when I cared for my mum, I knew what to expect because I went through it with Paul. And I wasn't given any information. I had to learn it by myself along the way. Like now, I'd know what to do now. But so whilst I was there, I put some forms together, some cheat sheets and everything else, which are available on my website, michelleburke.com.au, if you want to download them, very free. But I end up putting together this little book, which was the companion book to Conversation with Paul, which is Death, Dying, Beyond. And whilst I was writing this book, after I lost Paul, I had started having conversations, as Les did say, I'm a psychic medium, and I started having conversations with him, and he helped me write this book, and he's my ghost writer. So I am up to my next book, which is called Whispering in Time. I'm halfway through it. I've given myself a deadline because these books I wrote in about 9 months, each one. Like, it was very quick and easy. But this particular one is a little bit more, it's fictional, loving the process, and I'm getting there. So I'll be, hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have it published. So thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Deadlines are really important too because they give you something to aim for. Coincidentally, I also went viral. I also went viral.
You went viral?
I was patient zero with COVID. Christmas is just around the corner. It's only 7 months away. Some books from Busybird, Antworld, Kev's Antworld, which he originally drew about 20 years. Find the items that he's listed in each of these gorgeously drawn pictures, not the black and white ones, they're colouring in ones. Also, Blazer's memoir about growing up on a hippie commune with a lot of hippies. There you go, there's an endorsement from Michelle, it's a good book. And her novel, The Colours of Ash, which is actually about how do you deal with grief through love and hopefulness, which is quite a unique take on that whole genre. So everybody, I'd like to welcome a debutante to Open Mic Night. Everyone please welcome Phil, who is going to read some historical fiction called Irresponsible. Or maybe she was just calling me irresponsible, and he's going to read some historical fiction. So everyone please welcome Phil.
Thanks, Les. Maybe I need to retitle it Les. Good idea. For those of you who know Angus, I'm proud to tell you that I'm his dad, and he's been a Busybird person for quite a long time, and I think won the first bursary, so it's his fault that I'm here tonight. I have been compelled over some 35 years now to capture and tell stories from my family. Originally reluctant to participate, and then I just got bought into it all. And I have written and published on a digital platform. I don't think that what I've written before is terribly good, and so I made the decision that this story was too good not to write well, and this is the beginning. And it is titled Irresponsible with an exclamation mark, and there is a reason for that. And it's the careless life and lonely death of an Australian media celebrity. It is historical fiction based on extensive documented facts and supplemented by creative gap filling. And this is the preface. It was not how I imagined it would be. I would arrive in Messina with cousin Megan, and together we would go straight to the cemetery, the last resting place of a colourful man who died sick, penniless and alone, trapped in a country where he didn't speak the language, didn't like the people, and didn't even like the food. I wandered, searching, along the paths through the crypts and headstones of the Palermo cemetery, with the sweat trickling down my back from the beating sun and the trepidation of 30 years of roadblocks and wrong turns and any number of attempts to discourage my interest, obfuscation, or just the absence of concrete evidence. Having walked through majestic, well-maintained monuments, and then the less grand and less well-kept memorials, I cautiously navigated my way through the damaged and tilted headstones and often barely readable inscriptions. I finally approached the paupers section, where the ground was featureless, with not even the faint outline of raised soil to show where a body had been interred long ago, and which marked those who had been unloved, unwept, or simply bereft of the means to pay for recognition of their earthly existence. I counted along the small, frequently missing metal row and plot numbers that were the only remaining evidence that each person was once alive. And then there it was, the marker I had been looking for. I couldn't help it. Before I could catch myself, it burst out of my mouth, almost under my breath. I found you, you bastard. But he's not there. I just can't find where the body is buried, literally or figuratively. My wicked relative remains irritatingly elusive and enigmatic. I've spent decades and money galore on research. I've tried everything to find the last piece of evidence about a chaotic and even bizarre life. It didn't need our domestic intelligence service to identify him as irresponsible. Everyone knew it then, and a casual perusal of the records now shows it too. Even 60 years later, the repercussions of his attitudes and behaviours continue to have effect. It's one thing to claim one's familial heroes and high achievers, and we certainly have more than a few of those. But if we are truly to understand ourselves, we need to examine the rogues and the villains too. After all, the question that lies at the heart of human nature is, how much of our forebears is within our very being, and how much is learned?
Thanks, Phil. It's a great debut. You also talk about writing other books that were self-published, and you sort of depreciated what they were like. And I just think, any writer, anything you write is just part of development, evolution, and you're always improving. It's not an art form where you hit a peak and go, this is it. At least until if you develop dementia or something, then obviously you have peaked. My stuff you wouldn't be able to tell. Betty. So Betty's working on a memoir right now, and she just got the proof in her hands, which I don't know, I'm trying to build up like you might. No, you can still come up while I'm talking. I talk sort of to fill the time as people walk up. So you can keep walking.
Carry on.
Yep.
But
So,
don't ding me before I get started.
no. Everyone, please welcome Betty.
Yeah, put the microphone right down the bottom. Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Dominic's wife. For those of you who don't know us, we come as a pair of clowns, the two of us. I'm pleased to hopefully call myself one of the Busy Bird family. I've been coming for a couple of years, and my husband as well. We both feel very warm and welcome here with all the friends we've made. I write poetry, short stories, both fiction and non-fiction, and I'm just finishing my memoir. But one of the things I wrote, just for something different tonight, one of my travel stories won a competition, and it was published in an anthology, and my story was called Heading Southwards. There were 12 stories in here, but they used my story for the front cover, the penguins. Hint, hint, I went to Antarctica. So I timed this at home. It went for 4 minutes, so I'll just get right into it. This is just a little excerpt of the story. It takes about 10 minutes to dress in thermal top and bottoms, jeans and jumper and waterproof pants. Then, heaving the bright orange Antarctic outer coat and the life jacket in your arm, you waddle down to the aft lounge on level 2 in your thick socks. Then, wrapped up tighter than an Egyptian mummy, you attempt the acrobatic movements needed to step into the knee-high Wellington boots. And when you're as short as me, knee-high. There's always a helping hand, and total strangers soon become friends. Some jackets have a clear plastic slot on the sleeve up here for the ID card. Some don't, so I'll wear my lanyard tucked inside my clothes at all times. When my group's called, I follow the others down to 2 flights of steel stairs to reach the open gated area at the back of the ship. As each person passes, an assistant scans the barcode,
Then you go down one more level to board the Zodiac, which is supposed to be a big rubber boat, but when you're out there in the middle of nowhere, it looks like a little inner tube to me. So you go to board the Zodiac in groups of 10. The rough sea causes it to bob up and down as you approach, awkward in your big boots and multi-layers of insulation. A crew member stands on each side of the opening, and as you step out, they grab you and they throw you into the Zodiac. So you pick yourself up, you sit on the edge of the Zodiac and slide up to perch precariously on the black rubber while reaching frantically for the rope handhold. The trip is short because it's the first day we arrived. It's just to give us a quick look. But it is worth it to get a close look at some of the small icebergs, many of which have a solitary seal in residence. We spot penguins and seals passing by and glimpse distant grey-white icy mountains and glaciers. The frigid air stings my nostrils and carries a faint whiff of penguin and bird excrement, artistically known as guano, but most people called it bird shit, and from the many colonies on the land. This short trip was an appetizer for the feast of wonders to come, for the next few days, cruising around the Antarctic islands. Back on board, the procedure is reversed. Everyone troops up the metal stairs where we have our ID scanned and we proceed to the boot corner. You sit on a chair and insert each heel of your Wellington boot into a special heel grip, and with one tug, the cumbersome boot is loosened and you're free. The only problem being that you walk to the lounge through puddles left behind by those before you. Another 5 minutes spent struggling out of the heavy jacket, the life jacket, the gloves, the big heavy coat, the balaclava. Then you walk in your wet socks back to your cabin to dry your feet and don warm socks. After a few days, this whole procedure becomes second nature and is managed in no time at all, and it's really worth it. The next morning, the temperature is -1 degree Celsius, and I'm in red group, and we set out for our first trip. Before boarding the Zodiac, each person has to walk through a shallow plastic tub of disinfectant. This is to prevent cross-contamination, as we're going to walk on land today. The Zodiac bounces across the surface of the dark water, rushing to the shore. Then it's a bit of a struggle to get my legs over the rubber sides of the Zodiac, to wade through the shallow water and to step out onto the Antarctic soil. Well, not really soil. The black pebbles underfoot, which make up the foreshore and the entire surface of the bay, were actually volcanic in origin. An enormous brown hill juts up a short distance from the waterline, and penguins are standing on its craggy sides, guarding their nests. Dozens more are wandering along the shore or frolicking in rock pools nearby. A fat seal hauls itself out of the water, waddles over to a spot amongst the rocks, and settles down for a snooze. We tourists obediently stroll along adjacent to the shore between the red flags positioned earlier by our guides. We stop occasionally to allow penguins to cross in front of us as they pass on their way to the sea, or back upwards to the hills on our left to feed their waiting chicks. They're about 60 centimetres tall, and there are hundreds of them. It's a weird feeling to wander slowly along and observe these gentle, funny little creatures in their natural habitat. The presence of so many orange and black-clad monsters in their quiet little beach doesn't seem to worry them at all. The hikers set off to ascend the steep mountainside, while we wimps watch from the safety of the shore. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Here is a long-time attendee to Busy Bird Open Mic Night, and they're talking like unruly school children in the corner there while I'm trying to introduce her. But, you know, and then Robin's just sort of going, you know, and he's just trying to look a little bit guilty. And then, how long have you two been coming to Busy Bird?
About 35 years.
That sounds about right. When Michelle pointed it out too, she sort of thought like, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier and she was making out like, I've only been coming through a little bit, and it's like, yeah, it's pretty much the whole time we've been here. So, Gay is a very talented poet, comedian. If you added any more strings to that bow? Wife? Good singer, yes. Juggler. You juggle a husband. Everyone please welcome Gay.
Hello. Are you finished with that thing?
I like the fiddle with my knobs.
Hello. I do love a microphone. I wish I had one at home. I could really talk well to my husband, couldn't I? It's very funny. It's true. Now, I'm getting there. This is called Hello, My Name is Sally. A cacophony of bips, beeps, bells and announcements, the swish of opening and closing curtains, the whir of wheels and quickly tapping feet. We had arrived at the hospital. Hello, my name is Sally and I'll be looking after you today. I'm just going to take your blood pressure if that's okay. Now, can you tell me your name and date of birth? Can you tell me what happened today? And for what it's worth, do you know where you are? Hello, my name is Sharon and I'll be looking after you this evening. We need to do blood pressure, ECGs and oxygen reading. Now breathe deeply, sir. Your hands are freezing. Would you like a blanket? You're so cold. You really are doing so well for a 95-year-old. Hello, my name is Renee and I'll be looking after you for the rest of the day. Can you tell me when did this problem begin? And now I can't turn the page. Just cough for me, please. Now a big breath in. I'm just going to have a look at your abdomen. Does it hurt when I press here? Hello, my name is Leanne and I'm your nurse this morning. Do you have any chest pain? Is there any bleeding? When did this begin and how long did it remain and what have you taken to stop the pain? Hello, my name is Sally. I think we've met before. Now if you can just swing your feet out onto the floor, we'll go for a little walk. Don't just lean on me, don't try and talk. Here comes your lunch, soup and roast pork. Now back to your bed, but you haven't said, how's that dizzy feeling you had in your head? Thank you. And one more shorter one. I hope that doesn't slide down. It's not a post box, is it? This is called My Bathers and I. It's come the time that I dread. My bathers are lying on the bed. They look so innocent and sweet, but they challenge me to a defeat. It is a war, no more, no less, and I have to come out victorious. I have to put my bathers on. Everyone else is up and gone. I puff and struggle and turn quite blue. It's like fitting an elephant into a shoe. Over my tummy, but how to squeeze my bottom into something as small as these? I throw myself upon the bed, my face is really getting red. I push and pull and breathe right in. I'm beginning to think I'm going to win. Yes, over the shoulder and all tucked in. But there's lots of me up under my chin. What a relief, the bathers are on. I look in the mirror to see how I've gone. That's when I give a horrified shout. The bathers are on, but they're inside out. Thank you very much.
I thought Oscar was bad. Thank you, Gay. Robin, does she need a microphone at home?
Yes, very much so. I'm going deaf.
Oh, okay. Remember the old 60s spy shows? They always had the silencers they put on the guns? Doesn't need a silencer? Well, you don't need a silencer? No. You do have to go home, though. Sorry?
I get him with a double barrel. You know, the bubble.
Yeah. Just sit quiet now. Everything will be all right.
I to do anything. I can just stand here. Tara Kennedy has a story called Not Sure Yet. Is that the title, or are you just not sure what you're...
I don't know.
Well, she's still playing it for all it's worth. Everyone please welcome Tara.
Hello, my name's Tara. I'm going to flick to the right page. I tend to have ideas that do not get fulfilled, so I do write part of a story and then I get bored and move on, but they always end up being kind of similar. So I feel like that it will overarchingly become a book one day, but it's just bits and pieces at the moment. So this is just an idea that I have for a fiction novel. So the faces you show are not always your own, but a collection of ones you decided to keep. Prologue. It wasn't raining when a dark figure approached the front steps of Rosewater Adoption Centre. The figure was tall and broad and wore an oversized, deep red cloak with a hood that concealed its face. The cloak was noticeably torn and burnt and had mud stains along the hem. The figure walked quickly and quietly, often looking behind and above as it made its way up the narrow front steps of the home for children. It was nearly 2 in the morning, and there was an eerie silence that seemed to hang in the cold winter air. Not even the steps of the stranger could be heard on the cold pavement beneath its worn leather boots. Within its grasp was a crate about the size of a large shoebox. It had dark smudge marks on its side, as though someone had grabbed it with soot-covered hands. The figure held the crate tight to its chest, protectively. As it approached the faded blue front door, it paused for a moment or two before bending down and placing the crate carefully on the hard ground below. There was a small stir from inside as it connected with the concrete. The figure, still in a crouched position, reached into the side of the cloak and pulled out 2 large feathers, one black and one white. The feathers were strange, larger than most, and holographic under the moonlight. With a delicate motion, the figure laid down the 2 feathers into the crate, creating a soft blue glow from within and a hum in the air. There was another stir from inside, followed by a soft whimper. The figure, startled by the sound, glanced behind itself and above once again, its gaze lingering on the starless sky. After a moment or two, the figure returned its gaze to its precious crate and rose to its feet. It hesitated for only a moment before turning on its heels and walking away into the vastness of the night. For a moment all was still, even the crate on the front porch didn't stir. Then, as though a spell had been broken, the night became restless. The surrounding trees shook, the wind howled, the heavens opened wide, crying a million tears onto the world below. The figure had disappeared and left chaos in its wake. It was then that a cry rang out from within the crate, a cry so loud that it seemed to shake the earth below. Shortly after the first cry, a second sang into the night. Then, as though it was planned, 2 perfect cries rang out as one, and the front light of the Rosewater Adoption Centre turned on. An elderly woman wearing a white nightgown opened the door and was instantly soaked with rain. She put her arm up to shield her face from the rain and looked around herself and then below, noticing the little crate that sat on the doorstep. She gasped when she saw the 2 small babies that were inside, also soaked from the rain, their complexion warm and sun-kissed, with waves of curls the colour of midnight atop their small heads. Without another thought, the elderly lady picked the crate up and walked back inside, closing the worn blue door behind her. She never noticed the cloaked figure watching from a distance, or that when the babies were laying in that small crate with rain gushing all over their unwrapped bodies, a collection of raindrops had ceased falling just above their small heads in what looked like the shape of a halo. So,
Thank you, Tara. Tara, can I ask how old you are? Don't have to answer that.
25.
25, oh, okay. I thought you were a little bit younger. But, no, it's always encouraging to me to see sort of young people come into things like this, because, like, when I was around that age, I had no idea what I was doing. So it's always great to see someone coming up and braving the audience and reading their material and being confident. So well done. You know, we always say that Busy Bird's like a really nurturing, warm environment that no one should feel insecure or scared about. You know, people who come here want to see you do well. No one wants to see you fail. I mean, anyone who'd want to do that would be an arsehole. So I'm not going to point fingers, but is a certain young person whose name begins with M wanting to read, or I might ask again in a bit. Anyway, we only have 3 readers left, so that's how much time you have to decide, and it's really 2 because the last person is the last person. So everybody please welcome Richard Trembar. Richard Trembar.
Thank you, Les. You don't want to know how old I am, do you? No,
I can't count that, mate.
Can't count at all.
That's a good point, too.
I think we've given up counting. Anyway, traditionally, we read something new that we've written recently, but I haven't written anything for ages, so those of you who have been regulars here will have to put up with hearing one of my old pieces again, and those who are new to the Busy Bird night, you've got this in store for you. Anyway, the first poem I'll read is from, it's the title of my book, If We Should Ever Meet Again. If we should ever meet again. Do you ever wonder what would happen if we should ever meet again? Would it be like the first time or the last? They both seem so long ago, and yet it is the first time I recall when we were in the springtime of our lives. The days seemed longer then, the road seemed straight and true, and yet life overtook us with its twists and turns, and undergrowth along the verges of the road, more dense each mile, until it blocked our long shared view of life's true common goal. You went your way, and I went mine. Yet, looking back, I don't recall the reason. What went wrong, if anything? Perhaps it was just time. Time for both of us to scan life's landscape. As it lay outstretched before us, we drifted, and our lives took different paths to different destinations. But what if, once again, our paths should cross? If we should had time to pause, reflect, and to exchange the stories of our lives? Would we change anything? Or simply look upon those early days with fondness, born of love, and wonder why? This next one is called Cartography. Have you ever made a roadmap of your life as it would be the second time around? Knowing as you did which forks to take, which to avoid, would it be different to the one you've trod, the one to which you're now committed, the result of one wrong turn you made so many years ago when life was young? You know you had your chance. You can't believe you let it go. It seems so clear now in the cold grey light as eventide draws near. What would you change if you could live your life a second time? And with what consequence? Where would you be? What would you surround you? What would you miss of what you've created? Which memories? Which shining moments in your tapestry of life? What makes you think you'd get it right the second time around? If you had the chance to go back to the start, with none of what you have, or what you've done, or who you've done it with, no memory at all, would you give it all up, the whole of it, and start again? The Phantom Dinger hasn't got us yet, so This is one written reflecting upon my childhood. It's called But Not Forgotten. The magpie tree, towering beside the old dirt road where the magpie used to swoop us. Little kids walking to school along the long straight road, across the sandy creek in days long gone. The sandy creek where the kingfisher had her nest. The pomegranate tree beside the school, gone now but not forgotten. The little boys' collections of birds' eggs, well recalled. Blue ones, white ones, speckled, every size, nestling in their bed of cotton wool, missing only one, an eagle's egg. We tried, but an eagle is much more than a match for two little boys. All gone but not forgotten. And then the pony at full gallop down the street, a little boy riding bareback with a pussy willow whip, and the football match between two tiny towns, separated only by the lazy river as it wandered through the verdant valley, amidst the colours of the autumn leaves, all gone except the river, all long gone. How sweet it was, the innocence of carefree childhood, long gone but not forgotten. Thank you.
Thanks, Lucia. Second part, it's a good question. If you had your life to live over again, who would do it again, differently? Oh, there you go, there's emphatic hell yeah from Michelle. Anyone else? Oh, there's Liz Long. Michelle in the back.
You miss everything that's got you to where you are now.
The podium. There's only 2 readers left. I just want to make one last check on anyone. I'm not pointing figures.
Next month.
Next month, I'm hearing. Okay. Michaela, if you had your life over to live again, would you do it?
I'm not coming back.
Michelle's not coming back, apparently.
No, I'm not coming back.
Why not?
This is the last line from the intro.
Oh, you mean in the soul, spiritually? I thought,
Souls,
yeah, I thought you meant like the open mic night.
Oh, no.
I was about to tell Kev, you know. I was about to say to Kev, break out the champagne on top of the fridge. Sorry. So the next reader of a sort is a talented author, but she is also a talented artist. She is going to be showing up some of her mosaics, if I pronounced that correctly. I don't know, because some of our guys pronounce everything funny. So everyone, please welcome Elizabeth Long.
Hi.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. So it's not terribly exciting, but I just thought I'd show you something I did before I started. And I gave that up for writing. So this is my book, in case some of you don't know. And my next book is being edited as we speak, so I'm really happy about that. Okay, so hope I do this right, Kev. So the first one is, well, no. Left or right? I'm doing it left. I'll go right. Okay, yeah. So mosaics don't come up very well in photos. They're better in the flesh. But Kev has done a bit of work on them for me to make them look a bit better. I took them all with just my camera, and they're all hanging on my back fence. So, and they're quite large. So that was an image of City at Dusk. And so the next one is obviously a peacock. And the next one is my favourite cat. It's a cheetah, a king cheetah. And the next one is Big Blue. It's a big blue heron. These all are very large and took me 100 hours each to do, and yeah, it's okay. So the next one is I did a vegetable one for my brother because his wife grows all her vegetables and cooks beautifully, and so he wanted something for his new house down in Tassie. That's not the Tassie one, but it's down there now. So that was just all vegetables. So I did that for him. That's my dear Joseph, who died a few years ago. Don't get me started.
Tell us more about him.
You're very naughty. So that's also down at my brother's place. He wanted another mosaic for the B&B area. So that's glazed ceramic rather than the vitreous glass, which the other ones were.
Liz, when you say it's really big, how big?
Well, a lot of them are 600 by 900. Some are a bit smaller, but they're all like that. I was going to measure them before I came to it, but I forgot. So that's a Temple of Peace. I did that for my daughter, but she didn't like it. Anyway. You can't choose them, can you? So that's a giraffe walking sunset. I think I walk at dawn. I can't remember now. These are really much better in the flesh, I have to tell you.
They're beautiful. I'm a neighbour and I've stayed all of them.
Liz, you got a question at the back there, Dom?
Yes.
Just to excuse my ignorance, how do you make a mosaic? What do you buy?
You buy mosaics.
1 second.
What?
I can show you.
Okay.
I was going to. Anyone had any questions? Sorry, I was going to show you later if anyone had any questions. But in my case, it's from vitreous glass, and they're all 20 by 20. This is just a sample.
They're all the same size.
These are, yes. Yeah. So I cut every single one.
Oh, you cut them?
I cut them, and I cut them with, I won't take up too much time here, sorry. I cut them with 2 wheel cutters, lepanites these are. These are very prized amongst the mosaic groups, lepanites. And I can, and these are nippers, so you go in the sides. So each tile you see there has been hand cut by me.
You must be very patient.
I am. With that.
Yes.
Okay, nearly finished. Sorry. That's my ankle. No, I was asked to by Bandura Homestead to join into a mosaic exhibition with her, and they liked her so much that they put them on their emails, which I thought was lovely. I didn't get a prize, but I got that. So then I had a commission at a school in Seymour, and my brief was they wanted to have all Australian flora and fauna. That looks easy, but they were 16 metres in circumference, and there were 2 of them.
How many hours is that one?
It took me 5 months to do it. I'm sorry, I'm nearly finished. It took me 5 months to do it, working 4 days a week for 12 hours a day. So there's them, some Australian animals, some more, and all the flowers of every state in Australia. Can you name them? No, it's okay.
Can you?
And that's me putting up one errant tile. It was really hot. It was January, and it was boiling. Anyway, and that's laying the last one. So I think that's it. That's it.
Liz?
Yes.
How's it glued in or cemented?
With sanitised grout with a mosaic additive, and that'll just stay there forever. I used Avco. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for indulging me in that.
Thanks, Liz. The things we find out about our authors, because I didn't know that until she emailed me and said, can I do a presentation? And I was like, yeah, sure. And that was the first we'd heard that, well, I can't point at anything now, but this is the art form that she also did. And I think everyone was very, very impressed. Now, unless I've got it wrong, there's only one more person tonight. No, I don't have it wrong. Jimmy, do you need a stool?
You can stand.
Oh, well, it's up to you.
I'm okay.
Okay. So for our last, well, we had our last reader 2 readers ago, because then we had a presentation for our last show. What do you call it? Show for the night? Last performer? That's what I was looking for. Everyone please welcome Jimmy Fong. Oh, no. No changes. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You got Jim.
Thank you. Thank you. Whoa. Loud enough. Good to be back after quite a few months. Good to see everybody. What can I say? Every time I come here, I learn something new. People from all walks of life, young, old, whatever it is. We, although look different, I mean, I look different to you, but we do have similar sort of stories because we're human beings. And tonight, I'm gonna bring a new song to you. You want to hear it? Yes. Okay. This new song is about starting again. Forget about what's been happening, especially to performer. Like I was busy performing before the pandemic, as you know. With the pandemic, everything shuts. So, and on top of that, you know, they're just like the usual things. It just brought me and the whole family down a lot. So this is about getting out there and actually start to let nature heal. The song will reveal itself. So it goes like this.
Gentle breeze and clear blue sky. If only I could realize the joyful life I feel inside. And what a day to hang on. And what a day to feel the sun, the ocean spray. If only now is here to stay. I'll ask the wind to lead the way. What a day, what a day to let my spirit soar and play, to leave the past and find my own way. What a day, what a day, what a day to leave behind the worries weighing on my mind, the freedom of the open sea allows my heart and soul to and find my own way. What a day, what a day. Take a chance and make a leap. Feel the wind beneath your feet. Don't look back, just keep on moving. Feel the wind where it is blowing. As the sun begins to set, I'll take a breath with no regrets. And for the moment that I have, I cherish loved ones that I'm with. What a day, what a day. I let my spirit soar and play. I leave the past and find my own way. What a day, what a day. What a day, what a day. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy. So what were your performance dates again?
Yes, on Friday and also 28th Sunday at the Great.
Figure eight. Then Friday is that?
So Friday is on Wheatley Grove in St Helena, a place called Oregon Express. Daytime is it's a cafe, but nighttime to try to turn it into a restaurant. So it's my first time there. So if you could spare the time, that would be really great to have you. I'll be playing some covers as well as some of my originals.
Thank you. Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh yeah, take a photo if you like. All right, on here. Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy. Just some housekeeping things before I go on to a raffle. So we have a book writing book camp 2-day workshop, which is on, sorry, I've got to look myself, June 10th, June 11th. So that's going to be held, facilitated by myself and Debbie Lee, who is now officially part of Busybird. She was formerly at Ingram Spark. She knows everything about printing and publishing. You can actually find her card on the counter behind you. She is branded as the Book Maven. So that is a 2-day workshop. So if you're not interested, you'll learn everything about writing, from inception of the idea to writing to designing, layout, cover design, printing, publishing, and marketing. So if you're not interested in that, but you know someone who is, please refer it on, and you have a chance to win a car if you enter a raffle where a car is a prize, but not with us. Next open mic night is the 21st of June, Wednesday, third Wednesday of the month, every month, February to November. So 21st of June, put that in your calendar. Kev, myself, Oscar, I'm sure Blaze also, and everyone associated with Busybird, Shell back there, Bo, who's one of our, if not our most senior, most editor. We're all appreciative of the contributions you make to Busybird to help us keep going and to just let us know that, you know, what we're doing is worthwhile. Finally, the raffle prize is 2 books. One is My Pride by Lazarus Igamanis. I know him, he's a pretty good guy. And Prudence, which is my new book, which is sort of dark and erotic and has other stuff involved in it. As an aside, while I look at this, I have a book launch in August for a YA book called This, which is about being a teenager in the 80s with neurosis. It's very autobiographical. 5th of August, Buck Mulligan's at 2 p.m. Everyone's invited. I don't see people putting it in their phones. Buck Mulligan's, it's in Northcote. Have you ever been to Peacock Hotel in Northcote? Have you ever been to Northcote? Have you ever been to Thornbury? Have you been to Preston?
No.
Been to Buck Mulligan's in Northcote. When did you say? 5th August, 2 p.m. Sorry, I tried to book it around football, but they hadn't scheduled the fixture yet. Sorry? No, they're not. Now you're just challenging me to do it for longer. You people thought you're getting out tonight. You'll be here until the 21st of June now. The two books, Mind, Pride, and Prudence, and Shell's... What do you gesture me to do, Shell? Sorry? Have you got a ticket? Oh. It's not the first time I've paid for Shell to be here. Orange. C. 20. Free. C23? No one?
Call it now or Shell gets it.
Is that the one woman who left mid...
Mix them up again.
Oh, it's a good point, Kev. Just while I'm mixing, has anyone got any announcements to do with their creativity, their artwork, their books, their plays, their stand-up? Anyone got any announcements to make to the world? It's the place to do it. Anyone?
I have.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone's interested in chatting about spiritual stuff, the first Saturday of the month, I have a round-the-table spiritual talk in Taylor's Lakes.
Right, thank you, Michelle.
If you want to...
Is it
It's a good chat.
Is it a round table?
It's a round table. It is a round table.
Oh, cool. So it's not false advertising. That one's stuck. I hope Tara wins now because she's just running off. What number you got, Tara? Sorry? Were you 23? Oh. You know, you could have just lied then and I wouldn't have even asked. C. 13. Ruja. Oh my God. Don't tell us. Just we're trusting people.
Oh no.
What?
Never lied.
Turn around. Hey, that ticket's not even orange. Is anyone else claiming C13? No one else is claiming it? It's yours. Thank you, Ruja. Well, you can't say that anymore.
Except I won him 53 years ago.
Ah, that's sweet.
He's good enough, he lasted all this time.
Mishko, do you feel the same way? Did you win her 53 years ago? So that's it for tonight. Don't feel you have to leave immediately. There's some treats on the table, drinks. So feel free to mingle for a little bit, chat. Thank you everyone for coming. See you next month.
I do this? Do I do this?
You just do your thing.
What shall I do? Okay. Alright. Let's see. Okay, thank you.